Hey everyone, it's the Shawn. Welcome to another edition of the Women Business Leaders Show. Today we're going to meet with Alyze Sam, who is a leader in the tech world and came up through our LinkedIn network. So my regular co-host Lea Woodford, who is tied up on other business, and me host a show. We just launched it, and she was a highly recommended guest, and we've become fast friends. We've been talking a little bit the last week or two. And she's a woman in a world that is increasingly female. If you look at the blockchain crypto space, there are a lot of women involved, but tech world has traditionally been male. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the tensions there of being a woman in the boys club and coming into it. And it's something that, we're having a broader conversation about as a society. So hopefully this is helpful for you, gives you some thoughts and ideas about how to shape your career as a viewer and where you want to take things, and maybe get some ideas on how to manage things in your career. As I mentioned, my regular co-host, Lea Woodford, Smart Femme Magazine, very interested in women business issues, hosts a conference every year, which is really focused on speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs, but with a heavily female segment attending. I'm a corporate lawyer by training. I work with people on ownership and control of their business, partnership agreements, mergers, capital raises, and I also am a TEDx speaker on women in business, which has led to a lot of articles and interest in this area, plus speaking engagements. And I'm very interested in the future of business. And I think for particular reasons, women are going to be more important drivers of the future of business because changes are coming, which are going to drive that. Maybe we'll get a little bit into that in this show. We love your comments, so drop them wherever you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, on the Women Business Leaders channel, if you're watching on one of our LinkedIn feeds, if you're picking up on Facebook, feel free to comment. We will be reading your comments. And I always remind people I don't do investment advice and we don't do legal advice on the show. For those items, consult your investment advisors. Things here are just for your education. So Alyze, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being for one of our first guests for this new channel, a new concept, something that we've worked on for a while, but it's new to us. And I thought your take and your input was very valuable to us. And it's something that's just constantly going on. I mean, what is it like, being a woman in an area where I guess people would typically associate men, or you may be outnumbered in a lot of cases?
It is exciting and frustrating all in the same time. I think it also depends on the woman going through the experience too, because I grew up being a tomboy, so I think it's really fun, and I can roll with the punches. I can take the backlash, I can take the comments, I can give them.
Right.
When the boys hear them from me, they say, "Oh my goodness, what?"
They don't expect that, do they?
No. I go by Sam, a lot of times when people when they first started meeting me, they were like, "Oh, you're a girl?" Yeah, I am. Oh, I had no clue.
Really?
So
interesting.
I enjoy it, but it is frustrating for a lot of females, and I do have a lot of complaints about it as well.
Yeah. What are the frustrations or the complaints that you have about it? What are the difficulties?
Well, right now there was just a survey put out, and there's only 5% women in the cryptocurrency space, and that includes developers, that includes investors, that includes people that are casually interested as well.
Okay.
So 5% is such a really, really small percentage. So every time that we go to a meetup, a lot of times I've been the only female that's walked in.
Wow.
And when I walked in, I'm confident, but I'm a little bit shy. I don't like all eyes on me. I used to be a heavy set woman, a 350-pound woman, so I still kind of have that mindset to me. I'm just like, why are they staring at me, And
right.
When you're the only woman that walks in there, all eyes go to you just because you're the minority, not for any other reason. And, if you have, people in the crypto space, we're nerds, we're hobbits. We say to ourselves, we don't like that attention. And so, it's bothersome for people like me, I think.
Yeah, interesting comment though. I mean, I've heard that, there are a lot of the conferences, and certainly I've been to a lot of conferences where it's predominantly men and then a handful of females. What's been interesting here, I split my time between Florida and Texas. Florida, there's a very strong women's movement in the blockchain space, and a lot of the leading people that are making the movements here in Florida are women. So, for me, I associate when I go to an event, I see a lot of women because a lot of the people hosting the events or that are presenting are women, and I guess that makes it safe for other women. But it sounds like a lot of other places we haven't hit that critical mass, and that we have an unusual pocket maybe here in Central Florida.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a lucky space. And I do actually have a lot of women and blockchain friends in there. In fact, one of my good friends is in Miami. So it's interesting that you say that, because I know that that's true there, but it seems like anywhere else that we've gone in the cryptocurrency space, females are a huge minority. And there's a lot of issues with that. A lot of the girls that I'm really close to, and some of the females that you've interviewed recently, a lot of us have been sexually harassed. Some of them, have, there's actually been lawsuits among some of the girls that I know and women in blockchain. And, when people have tried to make a stand, they say that we've asked for it. In fact, one of the first videos that I put on my LinkedIn, it went viral. And that's how I got kind of a following on LinkedIn, was because I made a stand for that. I said, gentlemen, LinkedIn is a professional atmosphere. Please stay out of my inbox.
Yep.
And a lot of people said, well, you were asking for it. Your tagline says you're just here to serve. And I rebutted back with, I'm a hospice nurse. My whole tagline is having a servant's heart. And men, I use the term gentlemen loosely. They were arguing, and they were saying, no, you asked for it.
Right.
So,
well, and you raise a tricky point there, because, and I'd love to get your perspective on it. I don't know if there's a clear answer, but, I interface with a lot of people on LinkedIn, a lot of women, and, as a, for instance, maybe 3 weeks ago or so, a woman sends me a invite request on LinkedIn, and I reply back. I'm like, great to connect with you, read your background, would love to chat with you sometime. And then her reply back, is this about business? And I'm like, well, you've contacted me on a business platform. You send me a request to talk to me or to connect with me. I reply back, and now suddenly you're questioning whether it's business or not. And I, as a man, walk away scratching my head. I'm like, well, what's going on here, right? But I understand from a lot of, women that I talk to that, that they get a lot of dating type requests and other things. So I don't know, what's the answer? What's the balance, or what do you do in those situations?
I don't know. I think maybe honesty, transparency. I think that's what attracted me to blockchain in general. Cryptocurrency was the transparency. I think when people are just blatantly honest with their request, but classy at the same time, you can move forward. If somebody said, hey, I'm on LinkedIn obviously to do business, but I think that you're an attractive person. If we're at the same event, maybe we can catch up there. I don't think that there's any harm in that. I think that is really flattering and lovely. But it's just when, comment, like I'm thin right now for health reasons. And a lot of people think that they need to make comments. Gentlemen, think that they need to make comments for that. And I just, LinkedIn is not a place for that.
Right.
It's a professional platform.
Well,
aren't places for that,
Yeah, no, and I think it's a tricky thing. It's something a lot of people struggle with. The Me Too movement is something I've been asked to speak about as a lawyer, and I think about a lot. And it's honestly tricky, right? Because you don't know what to say and what to not say. Things can be taken out of context, but there's a lot to be said for what you just said, which is, communication, and then just thinking about the context of what you're saying and feeling it out, right? I mean, you figure out where you're going without, without dropping everything and dropping your candy in the lobby, as some people would say, right? I mean, you don't just spill everything right away and open with, some advance that's too aggressive, right?
Yeah, maybe I'm old fashioned because I'm like, maybe we should do coffee before we hit up the LinkedIn inbox and ask for, a marriage proposal here. I just,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean, it is efficient. The one good thing about LinkedIn is you can, you can move you can move information very quickly across international lines, and so.
there you go. Yeah. I mean, the goal is business. Let's get this done, right?
Right, let's get it done, right? And that's the LinkedIn platform. So, rather.
I keep offering several of my women in blockchain friends from overseas if they would marry me to get over here. But, maybe I need to get them in my LinkedIn inbox and see if I can get some contracts here and let them know it's really business at this point.
So that's a tricky space, and the unfortunate thing too, the far side of this, the extreme is, and I've read articles about it and I've heard the pieces where some men have said, well, I'm just not going to talk to women, or I'm not going to I'm not going to talk to women, or I'm not going to be in situations where I'm alone with women. Vice President Pence has very famously said he will not, meet with a female unless somebody else is present, which I understand how that protects him, but that takes a lot of opportunity away from women because you'll never have that kind of informal, deep conversation you can sometimes have in a one-on-one situation. So while it's designed to protect him, I think it hurts women with their access.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's his personal preference, and you have to respect that too. I think making statements like that, though, a lot of times kind of makes you seem like a predator. Like I hate to say
Yeah,
that.
I need to put, and I don't want to get into politics or parties or people's favorite politicians, but the fact that you have to put all these safeguards in place makes you
Yeah,
really wonder, right?
I mean, I'm not pointing fingers or saying anything bad, but it's just like, I'm not going to meet with a woman because, like that could be dangerous.
Right.
Why is that dangerous? Like that makes me nervous about you in general.
Well, this is just a very awkward time with this. I remember going to lunch with a woman, and we met somewhere. We had, similar businesses. We went to lunch, and at some point she was like, "So are you going to invite me to your hotel room?" And I'm like, "What are we
Oh,
talking
wow.
about? Like, we're at lunch having a business lunch, like."
Yeah, that's happened, and this is a very different space because I'm a hospice nurse.
Yeah.
Like that's where my background is. I'm from Kansas.
Yeah.
I actually was hit by a semi and just studied blockchain because I'm a nerd. And so I came from a completely different atmosphere where I walked into a room and they were just like, oh, well, the nurse is here. And I wasn't just a nurse, I'm a death nurse. People took my presence very seriously. And so I didn't get, a lot of sexual harassment or, a lot of it, unwarranted attention in general, except for what was on the patient. So
Right.
I think going to blockchain events and stuff, when any woman goes and they are a minority there, and then they are also, there's so many women. I can think of 10 of my friends off the top of my head that are just the most beautiful women that I've ever seen, and they're in the blockchain space.
Right.
And so when you walk into these rooms, the men are not only like, oh, there's a girl, they're like, there's a lady and she's genius and she's gorgeous,
Right.
And so then, the ante's up. So this already awkward gentlemen become more awkward. And as one of my lady friends put it, we need to learn how to treat a lady in blockchain and, go that direction. And you'll have to forgive me. I've been sick. So I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh no, you're giving us fantastic information. You're doing great. So.
And I'm sitting over here sniffling too. So I apologize. But it takes it up an ante, and it makes women uncomfortable, especially when they're there to talk about the tech and they're there to be known for their intellect and for what they've developed. and not their physical appearance, because they didn't want to be Instagram models. They wanted to be tech leaders. They wanted to
Yes.
be entrepreneurs, and that's why they're there. And so a lot of times the attention is appreciated because women like to feel complimented and pretty, or else they wouldn't do their makeup and get all done up.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And to tell a female, you are lovely. I can't wait to listen to you speak at the event. Maybe we can go out for coffee later. No, cool. I am so interested in what you have to offer the tech. There's
Right.
a way to put it to compliment a woman.
Exactly.
So,
And I think it's like so many other things too, when I do the sales training, right? And not that it's a customer, but we talk in sales training about knowing the personality of your customer and their buying style. And I think you're going to see this with women, right? And I think that's part of the problem too, is not every woman reacts the same to the same situation. And
right.
it's hard to guess, a lot of the factors behind the scenes, right? I mean, some are more interested than others, some are in different places in their lives. You don't know. In sales, we would say get to know your customer, right? So, I mean, there's something to be said for just the learning process, right?
But that's why we are here. That's where the tomboys come in.
Okay.
We're the ladder. We're
Right.
because we can roll with the punches and we can take it, but we can also slap you guys straight real quick. And then we can allow the real ladies to come in behind us.
Really?
So,
That was a little self-deprecating.
no, there is
No.
nothing wrong with being a tomboy. There is
But
nothing wrong.
You're not a not real lady.
Oh, I absolutely am a lady.
Okay.
But I have no desire to be a glamorous, beautiful, done up, feminine type lady either.
No, you have pictures of you inside the engine of a car I've seen.
Well, yeah, that's true. And then this morning I said, oh, geez, I have to wear makeup, don't I? And you said, yeah. And you have to put on clothes without holes in them. And I said, that sucks.
Wow. That's the first time I've had a guest call me out for our protocol.
Well, you said it was self-deprecating. It's not.
It is. It's fun. It's fun. So our main audience is geared to women business leaders, right? We're trying to collect lessons here for women that want to be successful. So, we spoke a lot. Actually, today we spoke a lot to men about, what to do, what the protocol is, how to do things. What do you say to the women, as you're going into these situations? Obviously, we've talked about women. A lot of them just want to get business done, maybe socialize later. How do you recommend you interface in these predominantly male situations? What would you recommend they do?
Well, I think women need to stand up and they need to be more boisterous in the industry. A lot of women have taken a stand lately. There's a lot of foundations and organizations in place now that are bringing women into the field. In fact, I work for CryptoCentral.io, and we're opening a college in Dubai that's going to be women devs. They will just go, anybody that wants to be a woman developer, they'll just go to school for free.
Yeah.
Because we want to bring women into the space, and we're not the only people doing that. There's plenty of corporations doing that. The Blockchain Society, I'll be speaking for them in San Francisco in March at Deloitte. They wanted to bring more women into blockchain, so they branched out to us. Companies that are doing that and they're begging for women to come into the industry, that's the first way that's going to change things. Women, knowing your consumer and your customer, knowing that women really control the world. I say Beyonce was right, and who runs the world? Girls do. Because if you look at the statistics and resources in the e-commerce, women are the ones that are spending all of the money. You will have to excuse me, I'm choking over here.
It's okay. Take a drink of water, and I think that's a great point. There's a statistic floating around that's hard to trace back, but women are responsible for a large percentage of consumer buying decisions because not only are women, half of the population, give or take, they also, in a lot of households, they, have the power for spending for a lot of the day-to-day decisions, and they get brought in on most of the major decisions. If you look at a family, women are going to be involved in buying a lot of supplies and regular stuff, and then also, major purchases. Many times when people have studied it, they say that the women have very significant influence in, what appliances do you buy, what car do you buy, what house upgrades do you do, et cetera, et cetera. So, women are very powerful consumers, as you say. And I think that's a great point to drive home. And that's one of the reasons why I think we need to recognize women more in business and participate more, because that's going to allow businesses to connect better to their consumer base when you have women who understand the way their buyers are probably making decisions. But I also think the world is changing to where many of the qualities that women percentage-wise are strong in, the soft skills, the relationship skills, the interrelations, those are becoming more and more valuable skills in the world of automation.
Yeah, well, especially in the world of cryptocurrency. I mean, what are we seeing in cryptocurrency and blockchain? We're seeing a lot of shopping. We're seeing healthcare. We're seeing real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm writing an article right now, and it's I think it was 76% of women pay for healthcare benefits in need, and then they rule the industry in travel, healthcare, e-commerce, and it was literally everything. And it was just shocked to see this, and I was like, that is exactly why there's no mass adoption in cryptocurrency. It's because there are no women. And as soon as we get women involved in it, it's gonna skyrocket,
Yeah.
But there's also, we need to educate women and tell them why they want to be involved and really nurture them in this space, because it's not welcoming for women at this time.
Right. Well, you're certainly a leader in a space. You're doing a lot of discussion of this, and you're ahead of these issues. I'm really glad that our network put us together and we got to meet and we did this show. Why don't you tell folks how they can find you, check you out, maybe see your upcoming speeches, or find you at one of these conferences? How do people check out your body of work?
Well, they can look me up on social media. I'm at Alyze Sam on everything. And and we're connected on social media. So I will be in San Francisco on March 27th, speaking for the Blockchain Society. It's by invite only, but if you drop me a line, we're teaching business executives about real estate and security tokens.
Yeah.
So you would not know it by my presentation today, but I can give a decent speech, I promise.
Yeah. No, you're very knowledgeable. You were great today, and I know you haven't been feeling well today, and I'm glad you stuck it out and helped the audience with the material. So thank you. And you do have some great stuff out there, so I recommend folks come check it out, and just follow your thought leadership, the stuff that you're getting out there. And folks, go. Oh yes.
That's one of the reasons we came, is because I do have a stablecoin book coming out in the next 2 weeks. And so you guys can look that up, and I'll a free copy if you guys mention that you saw me on Shawn's show.
Perfect. There you go, guys. So connect with her. Check it out. 2 weeks from now, the book will be coming out. Now you just got yourself a nice little bonus. So fantastic. Folks, I just always like to thank you for doing the hard work, for investing in yourself, for watching the show, for thinking about the future. The women in business topic is a tough one because it's hard to find the exact answers. But the more we think about it and the more we learn, the better we're going to handle these situations and the better we'll do. So I'm glad you're investing in that. I want to remind you, you can check out our past episodes, upcoming episodes, all at our Women Business Leaders YouTube channel. So check that out. Check out me and Lea. We'd be glad to interface with you. We'd love to read your comments. And Alyze, thanks for making the time with us today. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. And I will see you guys all soon. And thanks for putting up with me being ill.
Oh, you were great. Thank you.
Thank you.